settle for any ordinary brand. Let Jerry Foster, the branding evangelist, show you how to have a world-class brand here on Big Brand Formula. No more spinning your wheels, wondering what it takes to have a great brand that can have great things happen for you. Jerry wants you to think big and go big. Through his interviews and inspiring teachings, each episode is devoted to giving you the guidance, support, and tools for big branding your business, product, or a service, or even yourself as a personal brand. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Jerry Foster.
All right, welcome everybody to the Big Brand Formula Podcast. I'm Jerry Foster, the Big Branding Guy, also known as the Branding Evangelist. And I am so excited because today I have as my special guest Andrew Nagle, who is the CEO and co-founder of Glamly. Now, I have to admit, I don't know anything about Glamly. I'm here at a big event in Los Angeles, and they said, Jerry, you got to interview this guy. He is rocking it. So, Andrew, welcome to the show, and tell us about what is Glamly? What do you do?
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're super excited about Glamly at the moment. What we're doing is we're increasing the profits for beauty salons and day spas by integrating with their booking system, finding their quiet times, and selling them to our members at a discount. But the real key part is that we're doing it in a way that they're actually making a profit. So unlike other businesses before, think like the Groupons of the world that came in and sold these businesses a dream, and often, they never really saw, profits afterwards. It didn't work out. You hope that 1 in 10. With us, we become the customer of these times. And we're coming in at a price that's fair to both the consumer and the small business, so that we can keep coming back using this deal and helping these businesses to grow their revenue.
That's amazing. So you're helping, you said spas and salons?
Yes, we do beauty salons and day spas. So it's an app. We do massages, haircuts, nails, waxing, you name it. We have all these treatments, and they're all 20% off guaranteed. Every time you book with us, it's 20% off. You can use that same deal again and again, and you can find and book them directly from within the app.
I love that. Now, what sparked this idea? How did you come across this? Did you see sort of this unfulfilled need that was there and nobody was addressing it? Tell us how you came up with this.
So I think, like all good things in my life, it came from my wife originally. So, she just was unhappy with her current beauty routine because my wife loves a deal, okay? And often to get a deal, she would have to compromise on quality or convenience, right? Like I mentioned the Groupon, right? Where she would spend her time trying to find a Groupon. Often the quality could be very poor, right, but also she had to print out this coupon or she wouldn't be able to book. And she was like, we have to fix this. And then I realized myself that in my own beauty routine, if I was getting a massage, I was having like a little bit different problems. My problem was mainly for business trips. I was struggling because I was spending too much time trying to find the place I wanted to get the treatment done. And I also had this flexible schedule. So we thought, let's build something that would address both of these problems. And that's really how we built Glamly. But obviously that's one half of the puzzle.
Well, I like where you're going with this, and this is a valuable lesson for all of our listeners here, which is to find a void and fill it, right?
Exactly.
If there's a problem out there that's going unsolved that is driving people nuts, especially around this is really a hassle, this is taking too much time, I'd rather be doing something else, and you have found a way to fix that problem, man, you're onto something here.
Well, I definitely think so. I mean, I think, it's something we're very excited about. And I think, like I said, the problem, though, was that the thing is we solved one problem, right? But for this to work, you have to solve a problem on both sides, right?
Okay.
Because everyone wants their lives to be easier and to spend less money on services. But unless the business is incentivized as well, then you're not going to have a happy business. As you might see sometimes you come in with a deal, you might not get the same experience, and that's not okay. As far as if you're spending your money, you want to get the same top level experience, even if you're coming in at happy hour, just like a restaurant. And so we spent a lot of time then making sure that what is the problem these businesses are really having. And once we were able to create something that not just solved our problem, but solved their problem as well, that's when we knew we had something special.
That's really good because you're right. On the back end, if you're making these connections, it has to be the right experience because, as you know, a brand is an experience.
Exactly.
And you have to define that experience in terms of how are you going to shape perceptions about your brand, which impacts their decision to make a purchase.
Right.
So how do you address that on the back end? Because to your point, everybody is different in terms of their level of service, their definition of quality. How did you do that, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, like I think it's it's something that is one thing. It's actually a key feature of ours, which is we try and test every salon that joins our platform.
Okay.
Every business will send someone. Often I'll go myself even, and I will try that business out. I will see the quality of the service before I've even told them that maybe we're interested in signing them up, because I want to see how they're really treating their customers. So that's the first step. The second step is they then have to maintain that quality. So often we'll send almost like a secret shopper to those salons to make sure that they're still giving, that they'll book through our app, but we'll make sure that they're giving the same quality service that they'd promised when they first joined the platform. And we're under a mutual understanding that if that quality drops, then we have no problem with removing that business from our platform. Because, and this is something that we hit a crossroads with, was, we had to choose to grow slower in some ways, but sticking to our brand, making sure that we weren't just adding businesses so that we could have more appointments when they weren't on brand.
Exactly.
And that was a hard decision, but ultimately it was the correct decision for us.
I love that you're using the words "be on brand," because the translation for that, by the way, for those of you who are listening, is you have, to use your words, brand standards.
Yeah.
And these salons, for example, have to measure up. They have to pass your audition. They have to pass your inspection in terms of what is going to deliver a world-class experience to the consumer, to the customer. And you probably have a checklist, I would imagine,
right,
of what that criteria is. And so if on a scale of 1 to, let's say 1 to 10, and they're at a 6, you're like, no pass.
Exactly.
So you get to educate them because you're giving them a big opportunity.
Right. And we're giving them a big opportunity, and like these people are small business owners,
right,
which means that they're passionate. They're very passionate about their work. Often in the beauty industry, the owner of the business is actually the lead stylist even. So they're even committed to doing that work. And so we have to make sure that they are on brand for us, but they also want to make sure that we're on brand for them.
Yes.
Because when you have a marketplace, your brand is one thing that you're showing to your customers.
Yes.
But if you're holding like all of these, like equivalent to a Booking.com has these hotels on it, your brand is now also the sum of all of these brands that are actually on your marketplace.
Yes.
And these brands that are joining, they also want to make sure that whatever else is in the marketplace is on brand with them. And so we get this a lot. Our businesses will actually look at the other salons to make sure that they're happy with being associated with those other businesses, because they spent so long building their own brand that they don't want it to be, ruined by possibly joining a marketplace that doesn't fit them.
This is great because you are building a brand community. Because great brands are built by communities or tribes or avatars. And so I love how you are setting up the criteria for that to occur. Now, what's been some of your biggest branding hurdles that you've had to overcome on this journey? What stage are you at now? Are you
So we launched
revenue?
Yeah, we have revenue. We launched in October in Los Angeles, so we're in 20 salons across the city. We're growing.
Okay.
We have about 400 monthly users, but that's also this month we're seeing a huge surge.
Okay.
We're seeing a lot of referrals.
Good.
People talking about it, people sending it to their friends, and that's obviously a great sign. But to go back to what you asked about in terms of some of the problems that we had, I think one of the issues that small startups, small businesses face are you have so many channels in which your brand is being represented out there. You've got your website, you've got your app, you've got your email marketing, you might have street teams, you might have events, you have your sales, everything. So your brand is out there, like even difference between like your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. You are now having to portray your brand across all these channels. And like recently that picture going around saying like this is my LinkedIn photo, this is my Facebook. Well, for a brand, your Facebook profile, your Instagram and your LinkedIn are not the same thing.
Right.
And so you're having to constantly update these and make sure that they are all consistent with your brand. And when you have a small team, that's really hard to do.
Yes.
So often you have to say, like, it's better to do some things really well than to do like a lot of things, just average, right? And that's a really hard thing as a startup, to be like, okay, I'd love to launch this email campaign, but we either do it right or just don't do it at all.
That's so great, because in branding, those are called brand touch points, which means that any opportunity that the customer has to interact with your brand, they're forming an opinion.
Exactly.
And so you got to make sure that if you're setting a standard of excellence, that things have to be on point at every interaction, every touch point. And if they fall short, what's the customer going to remember? The negative.
Exactly.
And so I'm glad to see that you're going to educate these salon owners, because at one time I did a lot of branding with salons, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. That's a different breed of people, okay?
Right.
Their idea of a brand was, I have a logo. Uh-oh. Hey, there's my photo. I'm branded. Oh, my God. So good luck with that crowd. Although they are passionate. They are ambitious. And you also have the issue, I'm sure, that you're dealing with, which are not the owners, but the people who are renting space.
Yes, exactly.
Because they're part of the brand. How do you deal with that issue? Because all they really care about is getting appointments,
right?
Cutting hair.
Look, and that's why it is difficult. I'm not going to say that there's a perfect answer to fix it.
Yeah.
But we know from our customers. First of all, like, customer services are priority number one.
Okay.
Something goes wrong, we immediately address it. The customer is right? As far as we're concerned, we're making sure they're happy first, and we're making sure to see where the root of that problem is. And because we have all these people using the app, it does give us this idea of like crowdsourcing it to find out how well these are doing. And once we get that bad feedback, like I said, it's a strict line with us. We will remove the business. We won't work with it anymore.
Nice.
And it's just something that we're going to have to see as we grow on. But we are going to start to put out more quality teams, I feel, as we start to expand.
Excellent. And I love that you were giving me some kudos before we started about having listened to one of my podcasts, The 12 Tenets of a Strong Brand, a Big Brand. What are some takeaways from that?
Yeah, I think the one that stood out to me that really resonated with me today was the one about Dyson,
Yes.
where when the question was, how do you come up with these great ideas? And he said, like, I just take things, and make them better, right?
Exactly.
And, in the case of, like I said, the hand dryer, right, where you're putting your hand in, you don't have to touch it anymore. It's like, why were we even doing this differently before,
Exactly.
right? Like, you walk into a bathroom now, and if you've got to push the button, and you're like, oh, God, it feels like we're in the Stone Age, right? And so,
horse and buggy to automobiles, exactly.
Right? And I think, like, that's one thing that we really tried to do is, take something that was broken, something that wasn't working, and make it better. But I think going back to another one of your podcasts, I feel like one thing you said was that you can't just copy. You have to kind of come out as an individual brand,
Exactly.
right? So even if you're making something better, right? In the case of him and the hand dryer, right? It's he didn't just take it, right, and just like paint it. He didn't put the button in a different place. He took the concept and made it, 100 times better it's still a hand dryer, right? It's not like he's completely changed it. It's not paper towels, but now it's a completely different way of going about it.
Yes.
So while you're making it better, you also have to make it individual to you, because otherwise you can't compete with these big brands, right? If you're going up against like these billion-dollar companies, you're going, and they have these huge budgets. They have more people working, on their email marketing that you have in your entire company, right? You're not going to succeed, and you're not going to be remembered unless you do something individual, something like you said, I think, out of the box, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes, it might be, you have to learn to rein that in a bit, right? Because you might go over the top, but it's great to be individual because people resonate. People resonate with real things now as well. Gone are like the perfect advertisements, of, photoshopped images. Like people want to feel something that they can resonate to, a brand that they feel represents them as well.
And that's about making heart connections, right? In terms of making sure that the customer sees you as someone who truly, truly care about their well-being and their satisfaction and their needs being met and all of that. But I want to go back to something you just said, which is really good, and that is going against the flow, thinking outside the box, paying outside the lines. Because what you did was you looked out there. Was it Groupon? Yeah,
I think like Groupon was the worst case. Like if we use that as the worst case, and then there's a couple that did small improvements. Those small improvements weren't going to get us there. We had to do the big jump. And that's really what made us stand out, and is that's helping us to grow now at a very fast rate.
Right. So when you're talking to these retailers, we'll stick with salons for now, and they're thinking that their point of comparison is Groupon.
Yeah.
Because they don't know any better.
Exactly.
Okay. So if you were to start off a sentence along the line of what makes us different and better from Groupon is, or the reason why you should choose us over Groupon is, how would you complete that sentence?
I usually start off by saying, I think we have like a flyer that we bring along with us, and it says like, we are like the anti-Groupon, right? And I say to them, I'm like, look, we list everything, we just call out, because you can't really kind of beat around the bush with this. You have to say what was wrong about that service, right? Without just hating on Groupon here. But whatever it is, you got to understand the pain points that customers had. And you have to, the more that you can actually say what they are, the more the customer is going to trust you.
Yes.
So we'll say, we're not going to do predatory pricing. We're not going to destroy your brand, because that was a big thing with Groupon, was this big lime green website, and you spent all this time building your brand, and now you've got a lime green coupon that someone has to like print out, and people hated that. So branding, pricing, the type of customers that were being attracted in a lot of cases, and we address all those points. And I just say to them, I'm like, just like I have high standards for what you need to keep, you need to have high standards with me. If I at any point do not meet what I'm selling you right now, then you need to tell me, because that's not okay, and we will fix it, and we will. Our goal is this dream, and if we're not doing that, I need to know from you, because you are the customer at the end of the day, like on that side of the marketplace.
Good for you. And because Groupon has really made it difficult for a lot of people, these salon owners and other retail merchants, because it didn't go the way that they thought it was going to go. So they're a little skeptical, cautious, fearful of someone like you coming in with, quote, the next best thing. However, if you can say that, well, wait a minute, not only do we have something that's different and better, we have a way of making sure that those nightmares don't occur again, correct?
Right.
So are you getting buy-in on that, or are they kind of like, well, prove it to me. Why should I believe you?
Before we even had customers, because we had to build up the supply side first. We had to get the salons on board before we even had customers, right? So not only did we have to say, like, look, we're going to get this. So we had to really convince them. It's a lot easier now for me to convince salons, because we have the results. We know that it's working for businesses. But before that, it's a leap of faith. But still, we have, on the salons that we've accepted, or that we've identified as a good fit, we have like a 90% success rate with those businesses that are, they think that we are doing exactly what meets their needs, and we're doing it in a way that they are extremely happy. Like, I get calls from my salons all the time. I speak to them one-on-one. I know all of our salon owners by first name. I think I know like their kids' names at this rate, and it's something that again, we had to promise a lot, and then we had to deliver on that, and I think we really have.
Fantastic. And the payoff for them has been what? Has revenues are going up, profits are expanding, and I bet you a big one is customer loyalty.
Yeah.
And repeat business.
Exactly, because the way to look at it is other systems, what they were doing was customer acquisition, right?
Okay.
Now, because of the rate that we come in, so we charge on average about 20% commission to our businesses, right? And we do a 20% discount.
Okay.
Now, what that means is that we're coming in rate, like I said earlier, where they're still making a profit. Mm-hmm. So we're no longer just customer acquisition, because we're not just funneling people into the Saturdays, which Groupon could do before. We're actually filling up the times that they were never able to fill, because no matter how good they get at their business, and they might increase ads or whatever it is, they're just seeing more and more bottlenecks at their peak times. But these other times are going empty. 40% of the time we're seeing across some of our businesses is just unfilled. And these businesses have to pay their staff, their lights, everything. And so they're losing money. So first thing we're doing is we're getting new customers in the door. They're going in at those times. Second thing that we're doing is taking some existing customers and redistributing them to those quiet times. Because if I take even a full paying customer on a Saturday and move them to, say, a Tuesday at 2 p.m., that then frees up that slot on a Saturday, which they have, 3 people wanting to get into. So now they've got someone else going in. So overall, their revenue has increased across the board, both from these new customers and us managing their time from there. And they're seeing that. So we're adding revenue across these businesses. Even after just 1 month of us, having launched, one of our businesses had increased their revenue by over $2,000 just in that month alone. And
Whoa.
that's only early days for us. So we have a lot to play with at the moment. And if we keep going the way we're going to go and we keep to our values, I think we're going to see some amazing results with these businesses.
I love this because in my experience with salon owners, their focus was primarily on new customers in the door, which for them usually came through word of mouth or referrals, or number 2, repeat customers, loyalty, or number 3, selling products.
Right.
I mean, that's a big deal to them. Are you addressing that as well? Are they getting more product sales?
So what we do is currently, obviously, we're getting the person in the door. We don't touch the tip. We don't do any, they're able to buy the products then themselves. But what we're actually going to be moving towards, it's not really announced yet, but first thing is a lot of our businesses create their own products. So they might have their own line of, let's say, shampoos or hair products, or, we have this great eyebrow business that are bringing out their own specialty products. So we're going to give them a platform on our app to be able to sell to customers that won't be from the same city. Because now they'll be able to attract customers from New York, even though they're based in Los Angeles. And the second thing is we're also going to be able to help them to shift those products that were just sitting there when they've got too much supply. So now we're able to tap in and find these issues they're having and just help them across the board. So products is definitely the next step.
That's outstanding. How would you describe your perfect customer or client, your dream client, your avatar? What type of salon is that? Because not only demographically, but I'm thinking psychographically, right? In terms of their strongest desires, their pain points, their mindset, their attitude, their spirit. What have you uncovered about that? Because this is not for every salon owner.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts about that?
You need to be a salon owner that has already taken some steps to try and improve your business.
Okay.
Now, the salon industry is one that's taken a while to modernize,
Yes.
right? There's been a lot of pen and paper salons taking bookings, just writing them down. What we're seeing now is a trend of these salons using these newer booking systems, which are the ones we integrate into. The ones that actually have a new website. They don't just have this thing from 10 years ago. Things that they're running their own Instagram, or even better, there's all these actual micro agencies and the salon, they're paying $150 a month, and this person's running their website, $150 a month, they're doing their Instagram. And that's a salon where the business owner realizes that, what, my time is better spent not doing this. Because a lot of them feel, I can do this. I don't want to spend $300 a month managing my Instagram and my website. I can do it on WordPress, or I can do it on Squarespace. Truth is, you can do it. You're just not going to do it very well, right? Because you need to specialize. Mm-hmm. So those businesses that have already recognized that are a prime candidate for us, first of all, because they know, what, I've made mistakes in the past, and now I realize that these things are actually beneficial for my business.
Fabulous. Wow. Outstanding. Any other tips, suggestions for our listeners out there? Are you just going to focus on salon owners, or are you looking at other types of businesses?
Yeah, so we're starting to look at med spas at the moment.
Med spas, okay.
So we're looking at the Botox, the fillers, but then we're also looking at, say, a bit of dentistry in terms of the teeth whitening and cleaning, and we're looking at a couple of other markets as well, because it's all similar problems, similar booking systems. Because our partnerships is also, there's a third part of the equation I mentioned, which is the actual partnerships with the booking systems themselves. That's our gateway to these salons.
Dude, you could just stick with those 4 industries. You do quite well.
I mean, definitely. I think we're you got to keep focused, obviously, on the thing at hand.
Exactly.
I think going back to what you said, I think just in terms of general tips, I think to move to more of a serious note, like I said, things are not going to go well, right, when you're doing things, right? Like if it comes to, say, if we're going to stick to specifically for branding, for example, you're going to make mistakes, right? And you've got to, first of all, when you've made that mistake, you've got to learn from it, but you've just got to bury it, right? In your mind. Yes. For you to succeed, and for you to get over these things, you're going to need to learn to just be like, I messed up. what can I do better? But if you just keep thinking about it, like, oh, I can't believe I did that, it's going to bring you down. And mental health in this industry is a huge thing. For startup founders, you're going to get hit again and again, right? When it comes to raising investment, 90% of people are going to say no, and 10% are going to say yes. The first customers, you're going to have people that aren't happy, and you're going to have. It never goes right? Even for us, like continuing every week, something's going wrong. And it's about learning to take care of yourself for those, learning to pick yourself back up, to realize when to kind of, take the foot off the gas and be like, hey, I need to take a break, look after myself. I think that's something that people just don't talk about enough. They don't say, like, founders need to look after themselves. Yeah. People that are, running any kind of business, you're the person. If you go down, a lot of times, if you have a small team, then the whole business is going to kind of go down. So if you're not looking after yourself, it's not good for your business.
Man, these are golden lessons here. From such a young guy from one of my favorite countries. He's Irish, right? The Irish.
Right. They're shipping us over here at the moment.
Well, listen, my friend, this has been really wonderful. And those of you who are out there, perhaps you own a salon or you know someone who owns a salon, go to glamly.com, GLAMMLY.com. glamly.com. Anything else, Andrew, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was just saying, and look, if you would like, to save some money on your beauty treatments, get top quality beauty treatments as well, then go to the App Store. We're on the App Store. Download the app. And like I said earlier, if at any point, what I've just said in this interview, like if at any point we're not meeting the expectations based on what I've just told you now, just email me. It's Andrew at Glamly. Tell me what we're doing wrong, because as much as we love to hear when we're doing things well, I want to know if we're doing something wrong.
I'm looking for a good skin facial person.
We have some awesome facials.
It's my vanity. I got to get rid of the blemishes and everything.
I know, right?
It's all geographic, right? You just put your zip code in there.
Right.
Oh, this is great. Well, listen, my friend.
Look, thank you so much.
Oh, God bless you. All right, and so until next time, this is Jerry Foster, the branding evangelist, signing off. Take care.
You have just listened to Big Brand Formula. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to visit our website, jerryfosterbranding.com/podcast, where you can subscribe to the show and access our resources. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or simply telling a friend about us. Join Jerry again on the next episode of Big Brand Formula, where he can further help create your world-class brand.